Monster death animations. Similar to the method I believe Barry 2 uses. He does action step 7. There's two methods you could use for this. You could do individual monster deaths. They're more time consuming. Unique deaths per monster. They look cooler than a generic death for everything. And they can be easier to set up for scripts like possibly drops or variable points or something based on this. Con would be they must be made for each monster, so they're a little time consuming. Another method is a generic death animation. So, like an explosion or something, once coded in, it's pretty simple and can be used just that one time and you're all set. Everything that dies blows up and makes that death animation. You could have like just monster objects do it or something like that. Um, all monsters would share this. It's pretty boring and generic. Um, it creates another object when it dies and replaces it on screen, so there might be a little bit of a slowdown for a second or something. So it's not really cool either. Um, but here let's show what I do. So the method that Barry uses, um, it's similar to Metroidvania, um, platformer type of code. So it says when the player gets hurt or when the monster gets hurt, goes into the death animation. Um, checks action step 7 to see if it's in that step. If not, then you can go to the hurt part. If so, then it jumps to skip hurting. So then there's the do not skip hurting. So this is the part where you actually get hurt. Um, changes to 7. Does a timer for the health. That way, if it decreases the health, it doesn't just like um how to explain this. It doesn't make it just trigger like a bazillion times. Like we showed something like this in another video. I believe that's what it's doing here. So it's decreasing the health. And then if it's not 0, um jump to skip. That's the same as this, essentially. So it jumps there. So this is when it's basically, I believe, in the death animation. So it goes to this, creates object on screen, counts the objects, does that. So we're not going to do create the object on screen. We're just going to do, it puts it in that see, I made a code for it here too. Um we're just going to make it so it puts the monster in that state. Alright, so project settings, script settings, or you can manually open the folder. You're going to want to open your monster hurt or your timer if it goes to that for the monster. Um, I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Alright, so monster hurt subroutine. If monsters hurt, the object action step is 6 for me. It's used because if not, you deal lethal damage every time. So first it checks if it's 7, it's dead. Death animation. Then it checks if it's 6. That's like hurt or stunned animation. If it's in the death animation, it goes to down here, where there's absolutely nothing, so it doesn't take any damage. Same thing with the hurt. If they take damage, change action step to 6. We use the other object because if you go into object collisions, do handle hurt monster. The monster is the other object. Self object is the weapon. That's do handle object collisions. Alright, so back in the hurt monster. Hold on. Alright, in another video, we did the object's health. So it does decrease the object's health. Skip hurting the object after it decreases and loads in it. Destroy the object if it's got no health. Let's see here. So, okay, so in your object, you're going to, in your monster, you're going to, where's a monster, for example, slime. Alright. Slime has a stun state for it to be hurt. And it has just a regular state. When it's in its death animation, instead of doing the action step to 7, hint, we're going to change some code to something like this. Not very difficult. I'm gonna put it like right in here. It kind of says it right here. Basically, you're just going to make a death animation for it that goes in step 7. So I'm going to show you that. Currently, this is what it looks like. Blinks, because I didn't give it really any animation for when it's stunned. We're just generically using like a blank tile as the alternate frame. When it's dead, there is no animation because all it does is destroy object. Players here, monsters here. Object details is 2 health. If we give it 1 health, dies in 1 hit. Now that's good to show the death animation, but first I want to test and show you the stun animation, because we're essentially going to use that code to make the death animation. So we go to object details, make the health 2. So now you gotta hit twice. The first hit will put it in the stun animation. Second hit will destroy the object. Here, I'll show you again. I messed up. When they're in the stun animation, they're invincible. So you can't hurt them right now. Now that it's over, you can hurt them again and kill them. I made a generic type of death animation for my slimes. It's 3 frames. Goes like this. First 2, and then the last one's blank. I usually do a blank last frame, not always, but usually I use a blank one. Alright, so it's 3 frames. Make sure it's every direction unless you have a specific direction for each one or something. You could have like death left, death right. It's just a lot of extra animations. Alright, so action step 7. I like to do stop moving or null. But if they're moving and they go to death, then it um would still look weird. It would probably be moving still. So we're gonna put that at 6. The end of the animation, destroy me. We might change that later. In this animation step, they shouldn't be able to be hurt. That's already in the script right here. So you don't need that. Unless you have something that makes it so they ignore the player or something like that. Have that flag be like ignore player hurt. Anyway, with that it should work. So we're going to change the script now. So this is okay, so it's 0. It's not equal, skips. If it is equal, do whatever's in here. Whatever's in here, it's destroy object. Test that right now. We could just do that. It will not destroy the object. It's gonna be some weird shit. Stay tuned. It's the creature that will not die. Just keeps going to that stun step. Anyway. That was just to show that it does destroy the object. So now what we're going to do is change to step 7. Blah. Monster belts. Alright. And then if we want to give the monster 1 health, so it just automatically goes to that death step. Alright. So that is how you add a death animation to a monster. Each monster you have must have a death animation now, or else it'll never die. Because we took out the destroy object. Step 7 makes it die. So like this bat doesn't have a step 7 that it does anything with right now. So either way we would have to have like something like something like that. I never made the bats for this, so anyway. I guess that'll be in another video. But for this one, that's essentially it. We added using the health system that we added in a previous video. We had it do this. First we had it change it gets the action step of the other object, compares that to death animation. Then if it is, skips it, compares it to stunned animation. Then if it is, skips it. It's neither one of these, changes them to that step, decreases the health, loads in the new health, goes to skip step for her. Change action step other object when it is hurt. If it's in the death state, so what it's doing is saying object health is 0. Skip to that. Change them to 7. Death animation. Does a death animation. Within the death animation, you put down action step 7, death, animation, destroy me. You can either have it here or here. If you have it here, make sure the timer's set. Have your animation set, goes to destroy me in your end timers, and it destroys your object. I can include the link to this topic in the forums, and I'll log in and I'm going to post my new script with health. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.